Hey guys, Rachel Grabenhofer here with Cosmetics and Toiletries, coming to you with a late recap of the IFSCC Congress this week, which was held in Cannes. It's been a very long week full of great topics and information. You could see I'm kind of at the airport here trying to recap my notes on what I saw this week, so I apologize that it came along a little late, but I still wanted to get out a quick video with some information to you. So for some quick numbers, 1,200 abstracts were submitted for this year's Congress, ending up with 68 podium presentations and 730 posters. I think that's a new record. Some interesting topics. There was a great keynote on the skin microbiome as its own topical, like, skincare product, I guess, if you will. But it was interesting. It focused on the function above the microbes, not just the diversity, because apparently the microbes have evolved together over time and learned to kind of support one another. So there's a redundancy in the functionality of what's going on in skin. So the keynote had basically the emphasis on working with the function of the materials on, the microbes on skin versus that diversity. There was a lot of talk about sun protection, especially focused on the exposome, so things like pollution and other surrounding factors. A lot of discussion about mitochondria and that role in terms of cellular energy, also pigmentation. I'm going to pause for a minute. As I was saying, the mitochondria and their role in hyperpigmentation. A lot of mitochondria talk in general this year. There's a great talk by Paul Matz about the humble moisturizer, as he called it, which really is not humble. He had a very heartwarming story about some, I guess, lesser developed countries where PADO is developed in the swelling of the feet and legs because they don't wear shoes. They don't necessarily understand the importance of just water to cleanse the feet and soap, and then applying petrolatum, which really has been shown by doing that and then adding shoes after the fact, that second skin protection has been able to reduce PADO. So it was a nice out-of-the-box, as they called it, presentation talking about treatment with just your basic water and soap and petrolatum. I had a great conversation with Joel Mentolin from Ashland, who gave me sort of his overview on topics this year. Anti-aging, neuroscience, microbiome, personalization, and longevity, especially focused on epigenetics, were some of the topics that he saw. So that was a great insight from him. L'Oreal presented its sustainability challenge. I think it was for the third year in a row. The winner this year was the company Deep Blue Biotech, who they were focused on harnessing sand bacteria, which is one of the oldest microbes, I guess, on Earth, but to turn CO2 into valuable molecules. Hyaluronic acid is the example that they gave. Interesting topic. Also, the brand Helena Rubinstein had its own satellite symposium, they called it, which was held in parallel with the different Congress presentations, IFSCC Congress. But their topics ranged from skin recovery and repair to senescence and ozone as a new focus on anti-skin stressors. So that ozone as a new exposome factor, I guess you could say. Telocytes is a new term I heard this time around. There are a couple different presentations related to that. I want to say it related to aging, but I have to dig into that a little deeper. I just want to mention that term, telocytes, so you could look into that. There's also another out-of-the-box talk related to space and how space innovation could inspire beauty. Experiments in microgravity was a big part of the discussion, talking about the homogeneity of how crystals form and the stability of materials. I'm going to pause here. Sorry, airport talk again. But yes, talking about space and out-of-the-box. That talk related a lot to microgravity experiments, the way that skin substrates grow in the zero gravity conditions, just basic material science behavior, also protein folding, some differences between zero gravity and not. So that was really kind of an interesting talk to hear about. Human skin tone diversity, a lot of discussion about that, how skin tones evolved, and also L'Oreal presented a new classification proposal that really took into consideration the warmth and the coolness of skin tones. So their new classification involved 6 parts: very light, light cool, light warm, medium, deep, and very deep. So that was interesting. But that wasn't the only talk about skin tone and diversity and inclusivity. There's also an interesting presentation on dragon fruit extract relating to the fact that it's embedded with so many electrolytes that it aligns very well with skin's own electrolytes. But the idea was that it would help to penetrate skin and actually in addition, in an electrophoresis way actually, but in addition to electrophoresis would delve deeper into skin. So that was kind of an interesting, I think it was an upcycled ingredient too. There was a holistic approach to anti-aging discussion from one of the keynotes that looked into the computational body systems, I guess you could say, and how different parts between the heart, I can't remember all the different systems, but like how there are different indicators in the blood serum that indicate what age you might be based on what is going on with your internal organs. And so they were able to put together this computational age evaluation or estimate within about 2 years accuracy. So I thought that was an interesting model. A lot of talk about emotion and stress. The sun protection, I mentioned that one already. But also the mental as well as physical pollution that's imposed by stress. And I mentioned ozone earlier as well. There was, on the hair side, there was a lot of talk about hair loss and graying. Actually, I'll get into this in just a minute, but some of the winning posters and basic research awards were related to hair. But I kept hearing terms related to skin reprogramming as well, and cryptic transcription that happens during senescence. Those were some of the other main themes related to longevity and skin health. So, and last but not least, I just want to hit on the top awards that were presented during the final gala. The Basic Research Award went to, let me pause. Nothing like a dramatic pause. So the top awards presented at the gala. The Basic Research Award went to Si-Young Kyung, sorry if I mispronounced that, from Cosmetic, who presented on stress-induced hair graying, and she used a model based on organoids to replicate this process. So that was the first award, Basic Research. Applied Research went to Jolanta Idkawiak Belois, I'm sorry if I mispronounced, from L'Oreal USA, who talked about scalp bacteria and ethnicity and those impacts in dandruff formation. So that was an interesting presentation as well. And then last but not least, the poster award went to Aisuke Takei from Shiseido, who spoke about the dynamics of facial shape, unraveling kind of the non-genetic factors, and then developing ingredients through gravity response 3D facial imaging. So a lot of very different topics this year, very interesting. It was very well attended and busy, as you can imagine. So that is my take really quick for this week. I've been trying to write up some reports with more details you'll see on our website and fed through our newsletters. So sorry if you weren't able to join this week, but I hope this gives you a little flavor for what's going on. I also have several one-on-one interviews from many of the posters coming along, so keep an eye out for that. So thank you for joining me. Sorry for the long overview, but I hope you had a great week, and I'll see you again next week. Thanks for joining me. Bye.